Good morning, good people, or good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to my third yoga video or stretch video or whatever you want to call this as I'm practicing teaching again and hopefully introducing some of you to yoga or establishing the basics. So tools, you got your mat, and I highly recommend blocks. Order them off Amazon if you don't have any. I use them every time I practice. Some other options, since this is the COVID time, wine bottles actually could work. Also, if you have kettlebells, a kettlebell might work if you have one or two of those. So a light one, that is, or water bottles. So we want to be able to bring the floor up to you a little bit closer. That'll be a little easier on the body. So choose your tools. If not, just try to find the floor with whatever you can. Keep your joints bent and find your way through these poses. So go ahead and take a moment to come present. So standing at the top of your mat, we're going to find mountain pose. So feet hips width distance apart, railroad tracked, so your heel is in line with the second and third toes. So go ahead and kind of pick up your feet, rock back and forth, find center, and then really press down through what we call all four corners of the feet. So right away, rooting down, go ahead and engage your quadriceps. A little bit of engagement in your low belly, your transversus abdominis. Think about like if you were zipping tight pants or trying to pull on a wetsuit, and that should bring your tailbone lengthening down towards the floor and your pelvis neutral, which is a pretty important position throughout practice. And so have some awareness, try to keep this engagement throughout practice. So roll your shoulders back a couple times, and then think about bringing them right in line directly over your hips. Think about drawing your chin just a little bit back so that your cervical spine is in line with the rest. And then rotate your palms forward, or your arms externally so that your palms are facing forward. And then close your eyes and just root down. Rise up through the crown of your head. So you want to think about length, but also a little bit of strength too as you are standing with intention. So go ahead and empty all the breath out. Take a nice, long, slow, deep inhale to the count of 5. Open your mouth and sigh it out to the count of 6. Take a few more breaths like that on your own, tuning your awareness into your body, doing an initial scan here just to see what your body feels like. Do you feel symmetrical today? Does one area feel tight? Are you holding tension in a certain place? Just have awareness. We're going to check in at the end of class and see if you have balanced things out a little bit more, created some ease in your body. So it should be about your third breath. So please honor your body here. Only move through what feels good. I'm only making suggestions, especially some of you are new here to yoga, and that's exactly who I want to work with and introduce you to getting in touch with your body in a gentle way so that we can move more gracefully and painlessly through life. All right, blink your eyes open. We're going to start with an inhale and sweeping your arms nice and wide and high. Inhale. And then hinging at the hips, so booty back, flat back, forward fold. This is where your blocks, your wine bottles, your kettlebells. Let your head hang. Your knees are nice and soft. There's a bend in them. Let your head hang heavy. Shake your head no. Shake your head yes. Maybe bending one knee and the other, just kind of starting to wake up the hamstrings. Breathing deeply. You want to try to coordinate just be mindful of your breath. Be breathing. Don't be holding your breath. If it gets short and choppy, you need to back off a little bit. So come back to center here. On an inhale, we want half lift, so press your hands into your props or the floor. Maybe straighten your knees just a little bit more. Crown the head forward, tailbone back. Then exhale, forward fold. One more inhale. Exhale, release. And then we're going to reverse hinge Swan dive up or hands through heart center. Maybe look up a little bit here, hands to heart center in prayer. Fully exhale. And then another sweeping your arms wide and high. Think about your tailbone lengthening and then hinging, flat back best you can, soft knees, forward fold, let your head hang. Inhale, half lift. Release. Now maybe walk your feet a little bit wider here and continue to use your props, or if it feels good, and especially keeping your knees soft, find a ragdoll here, and possibly, so if your hands can be on the floor supporting you on your props, or you can grasp opposite forearms, or actually upper arms, and just kind of hang, see, woo, that's a little bit much on my hamstrings, so I'm going to use the floor for support, taking an inhale, half lift. I'm finding my way back to a forward fold. So this is an exploration in your own body here. The point is to feel good. We're awakening tight areas, which can be a little bit challenging, but we are never here to cause pain or ask our bodies to do anything that they are not capable or prepared for. So, beautiful. And walk your feet back to center if you widen them, and then think about a reverse swan dive high. Beautiful, hands to heart center. All right, this is especially where you're going to want your blocks or your props, your wine bottles. So sweep high, hinging, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And then think about stepping back with your right foot, lunging back. Keeping your feet in separate lanes, and then taking your blocks, shoulders under your shoulders here, and you want a 90-degree angle in your front leg and find some nice extension, but you don't have to have that back leg fully extended, so you can keep a soft knee at any time. So just kind of rock a little bit back and forth here, see what you're working with. The beginning of a practice is always just getting in touch with what your body is doing today. And then flip your blocks up or stay high on your wine bottles. And then think about straightening, moving that front leg towards straight. I can't, my hamstrings are super tight this morning. They often are. You can have a flat back here, or you can round, see what feels good. You want to think about that back heel reaching towards the back, towards the mat, just to feel some length in the calf. And just breathe here. Walking the blocks back if you need to make sure they're underneath your shoulder. Maybe pulsing, so going back into a lunge and straightening. Think about keeping your hips square and into your shoulder. Beautiful. And then come back to a lunge, and then gently lower that back knee down, pat it if you have sensitive knees. And then come on up. You want to walk your front foot back so that you want to be pretty much 90 degrees, the best you can. And then untuck that back toe, and you want to have this hip underneath your knee. You can lean a little bit forward if you are a little bit more flexible and open. That's super tight for me. Actually, the stretches are different, so just see what feels good. But ultimately start here, and then you can move forward if you like a little bit. And then sweep your arms high. This is grounded crescent. So again, think about drawing that belly in, tucking that tailbone down, and you're really pressing into that back shin, into your toes, even your pinky toes. Take an inhale here and reach. And then cactus your arms, squeeze your shoulder blades together, down on the back, open up your chest. Inhale high. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale high. And then with length, come down, step your prop, move your props aside, ground down into your hands, untuck your back foot, lift your back knee, and press into your hands, step back into plank. So plank pose, feet are hips width distance, arms, my hands are actually usually a little bit wider than my shoulders, that feels better. So right here, you want to think about finding a neutral place, nice flat back, your belly is really doing a lot of work, your quadriceps are fired up here. Think about the crown of the head reaching forward, squeezing your shoulder blades together, and then lifting your hips up, pressing into your hands, shifting the weight back, finding downward dog. And make sure your knees are nice and soft here. And you're making a V. You want to try to maintain the natural curve in your low back, so that usually a lot of people go a little bit wide when it comes to the down dog. So just see what feels good. Clean up the fuzz off your mat. All right. So you want to think about finding length throughout the whole back line of the body. So you're really rooting strong through all four corners of your hands, but also your fingertips as well. You're squeezing your shoulder blades together, and they are moving down the back, which is up in this position. Your belly is kind of soft here. Your tailbone is reaching up to the sky. Your heels are reaching towards the mat. They probably will never touch. That's okay. Nice knees bend softly. So walk your dog, alternating bent knees. Beautiful. And then think about bending your knees and shifting a little bit forward and hovering your shins over the mat. You're going to get a nice long stretch along the bottoms of the feet here. And saying hello to your quadriceps a little bit more. And then straightening your legs, finding downward dog. Inhale, bear pose. Really pressing into the hands so that you're tractioning your body back. And then downward dog. Beautiful. Now, stepping your, well, let's see. Actually, we'll move into table pose. So bring your knees down, walk your hands back down so that they're directly in line with your shoulders. And you're going to find some cow-cat. So untuck your toes and move into cow pose. So dropping the belly, tipping the tailbone high, squeezing the shoulder blades. You're just looking forward here. And then cat pose, you're drawing your belly button to spine and then drawing your spine up to the ceiling and then letting your head drop. And don't go too crazy here. We're just finding some movement in the spine, just back and forth. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. You can let your head drop a little bit forward in cat. That sometimes feels good. One more inhale, one more exhale. And then come back to neutral, and then we're going to thread the needle. So ground down really strong into that right hand. Sweep your left hand high. Think about squeezing that shoulder blade in. And then dive that left hand down underneath the right arm, bending the right elbow, coming down, ultimately onto your cheek if you can, your left cheek or side of your forehead. And then walking that front arm forward, that right arm forward. Think about your hips moving away from your head. Breathing into this. Softening into it. One more inhale. Open your mouth and let it go. And then walking your right hand back down under, pressing into it, sweeping that left arm back high. And be gentle. You can see I cannot reach my arm very high. And then back down to neutral here. Beautiful. Take a moment to do a cow-cat. And then coming back to neutral. And then grounding down into the left hand, sweeping that right arm high and wide first. And then diving it underneath the left arm, palm up. Let that right cheekbone rest down. Think about hips shifting back and try to keep them in line. And then maybe walking that left hand forward like a kickstand. It'll help you get underneath that left shoulder blade. And then just soften, just relax here. Let gravity do the work and breathe. Just noticing if one side is different than the other, it probably is. That's the way we are. Yoga helps us bring a little bit more symmetry to our asymmetrical bodies. One more inhale. And exhale. Let it go. And then walk that left hand back down underneath. Sweep that right arm high, counter. And then come back to center. Beautiful. Take an inhale, cow. then walk your hands forward. We're gonna move back into downward dog. Tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back. Find that downward dog. Walk it out again. This time actually come up on your toes and then spin your heels to the right, bending into that right knee. Be gentle here. I am not touching the floor. My left side leg is super tight, so just honor what your body's saying to you here. Just want to try to find some length on that left side. Breathe into it. And then come back to neutral, to center. Come on up high on the toes. And then you want to spin your heels over to the left. And bend into that left knee. Now on this side, my foot can touch, the right foot can touch the floor. Just meet your body where it is. Don't ever ask it to do more than it is willing and able, or else you're going to create injuries, which is the exact opposite intention of yoga. So come back to center. And then we're going to shift forward into plank here. And then you can come down to your knees or you can stay in plank. And then bending your elbows, brushing your sides like a little grasshopper. We're going to lower ourselves down. And then bring your hands to your sides. Actually think about your fingertips in line with the tops of your shoulders. Untuck your toes, bring your legs together, squeeze your thighs together. So right away, fire up your lower body, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat so your lower body is really active. Get your head neutral, don't pay attention to me talking to the camera. And then squeezing your shoulder blades down and back, and then gently pressing in the hands, but you really actually are using more of your core strength to rise up, and your glutes are pretty fired up here, so pressing down the tops of the feet, your belly is engaged to keep your core really strong and integrated, but then you're reaching up, and exhale down. Inhale, cobra. Maybe press a little bit more into the hands here, but think about squeezing those shoulder blades back so that your shoulders are away from your ears. Exhale down. And then one more like that, or try locust, where you're reaching back with your hands, keeping you want to think about Superman here, so keeping your nose down, like you're looking down on the world, and you're squeezing your shoulder blades back. You want to lift your feet up a little bit, a little added extra strength. Keep that belly super strong and holding you together as you're extending out. Inhale, one more. And then come back down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders again. Tuck your toes. Push yourself back up either through plank or on your knees. Downward dog. And then this time we're going to just step the right foot up. Get your props. Not far away. Find yourself into a lunge position here. So again, the right knee is over the right ankle. You're not fully extending. Maybe keep a soft bend into the back of the leg. Inhale, nice and long, flat back, keeping your hips square. Maybe rock a little bit back and forth. And then flip those blocks up, walking them underneath your shoulders. Move to straighten your front leg. And see how that feels. I start off usually with looking up, and then as my body gets a little bit used to the pose, I soften my neck down, let it hang. Totally changes the sensation. Breathing the whole time. Maybe pulsing, so bending into the knee, straightening it. And instead of thinking about straightening, think about drawing your right hip forward and back. Forward and back. Good deal. One more inhale. And then bending your front knee, exhale. Blocks to the side. You want to step back into downward dog here. And then bring your knees down. We're going to move into child's pose. So either your knees together or your knees apart. See what feels better. I usually put my knees together and sit back, hips on heels. Arms outstretched forward, or you can have your arms back with the palms up. Feels usually kind of nice to have your shoulders open here. And then your hips may not reach your heels, that's totally fine. Just ease into it. Relax, let your forehead rest on the floor, your elbows rest on the floor. Take a few deep breaths. This is a great place to come at any time. you need a little break. This pose has a lot of benefits in itself. One more deep inhale. And open the mouth, let it go. All right, coming back up to table. So find yourself nice and squared up, 90-degree angles for the most part. Your hands can be wider than your arms or than your shoulders. We're gonna move into bird dog here. So we're going to reach that left arm forward. Actually, first thing we're gonna engage our belly. So we wanna try to keep our back flat and still. So reaching the left hand forward, that can be enough. If you'd like a little bit more, you can step your right foot back, keep the toes grounded. You can also raise that right leg high. Make sure you're keeping your 90-degree angles, and you want to be calling flointing. So you're pointing the foot back towards the back of the room, but then you're flexing your toes towards your face. So it's almost like you're reaching with the ball of your foot. Just breathe here. Beautiful, and then turn that foot down and that left hand down, knee down. Here's it gets a little tricky. So you're gonna kickstand that left foot out. So keep that left knee grounded, kickstand, maybe about 45 degrees, and then step that right foot back and ground down. So it's it's a warrior two. So it's parallel with the back of your mat. And you can walk your hands a little bit closer to your body here. Ground down into your left hand and sweep that right hand above your head, and then open it up to the ceiling. And you really, really want to ground with that right foot. So you're feeling a stretch from the pinky toe all the way up that whole right side of the body. If it feels good, maybe extend that right hand a little bit further. And you can be looking to the side, you can be looking down, you can be looking up, whatever agrees with your neck. And just breathe into it. I usually feel it super tight right here. One more deep breath. And you're really pressing in with that shin that helps you ground. And then we're going to pull ourselves up with that right hand, push off with the left, draw yourself up. Careful of not overextending that back knee. Right hand just gently touches the thigh, reaching forward with the left hand, sweeping high. Again, grounded in that outside edge of that right foot, and then just finding length on that opposite side, on that left side. And your left leg is really fired up here. That kickstand is working. Breathing into the side body, keeping that belly engaged. One more inhale. Beautiful, and then just reach back down, windmill your right hand high. Come back down to table. Find a cow-cat here. Find neutral, and then we're going to go to the opposite side. So grounding down nice and firm in that left hand, reaching forward with your right. You want your thumb up, so a little external rotation in the upper arm. And then if you feel like going a little bit deeper, step back with that left foot, tucking the toes, finding that neutral here, so make sure you're leveling everything out. And then if you'd like to reach that left foot off the ground, nice long straight back leg, go for it. Keeping that belly tight, find that floint, that little Barbie foot we call it. And breathe in, you may notice one side is a little wobblier than the other. One more inhale. Exhale. One more inhale, just because we can. And then slowly return back to table here. And then we're going to kickstand that right foot out. Step back with the left foot. And work your way there. Sometimes go slow. Keep tiptoeing those fingertips on the right hand back towards your knee. Sweeping as you're opening your side body. Your kickstand is nice and firm. Squeezing those shoulder blades together so you're plugging in your arms into the sockets. Think about, make sure you're evenly weight distribution on the left foot, especially the outside edge. And breathe. Your head can be doing whatever it needs to be doing to keep that neck comfortable. And then possibly extending overhead. But make sure you're originating from the pinky toe side of the left foot here. Breathe. And then on your next inhale, using the left hand, come on up, belly strong, lightly press down, let that left hand touch the left thigh, never ever pressure on the knee, and reaching high with that right hand. You may need to kickstand your foot out a little bit more for better anchor point, and you're reaching up. But your shoulder blade is plugged into the socket here. Left leg's fired up, your quad is engaged, your right shin is pressing down, your belly is zipped up. And keep breathing. You might find a little bit more length on the right side here. One more inhale, and then on the exhale, reach and keeping that length coming back to table. And then find your way to a downward dog here. And then looking forward, you're going to tiptoe yourself to the top of the mat. Find a forward fold, keeping your knees bent. Let your head hang heavy. And then hinging reverse, come on up. Sweeping wide and high. Beautiful hands to heart center. All right, that was part one. So take a moment, close your eyes, check in. How does your body feel? You're starting to wake up, starting to feel maybe some tingles moving through your body. Hopefully starting to appreciate how good it feels to move this body. And with ease and with loving kindness. All right, next inhale, we're moving to chair. So make sure your feet are hips width distance apart, or you can bring your big toes together, your heels a little bit apart. Depends on your anatomy. I like feet hips width distance. Make sure your railroad tracks. So go ahead and drop your booty, stick your butt back, but you're really engaged in the transversus in your low belly. So tucking that tailbone just a little bit. You want the weight in the heels. You can even bring your toes up if you like. And you can keep your hands at heart center. Just think about upper body. Your shoulder blades are drawing back. Upper body is as upright as you can get it, which really means you have to engage that core. So stay here if you want to reach and extend your arms. Thumbs out, pinky fingers in, drawing those shoulder blades together. And again, belly is your center point, your anchor here. Just breathe into it, maybe sink a little bit lower. Breathing, breathing, breathing. At any time, if you want to come out of it, just find a forward fold. Think about weight distributing evenly through all four corners of both feet. One more nice long inhale. And forward fold, exhale. Exhale. Might notice your hamstrings are a little bit warmer. Inhale, half lift. You can have hands on shins. Exhale. Inhale, half lift. And then we're going to move into crescent pose. So step that right foot back. Square yourself up, so feet in separate lanes. Nice long back. And then hover your hands. Think about drawing your right hip a little bit forward, your left hip a little bit back, but make sure everything is in alignment here. Knee is directly over the ankle, best you can. Not too hyperextended in the back knee. You can have as much bend as you need to in the back leg. So hovering here, nice belly engaged, shoulder blades kind of, intention is drawing together. You just want an open chest here. So take an inhale, sweep the arms back, palms down, neck nice and long. So think about Superman here. Inhale, reach forward, nice length from pinky. This is not easy. Beautiful. Sweep back, squeezing those shoulder blades. On an inhale, slowly move yourself up into a crescent pose. And I like to bend my knee quite a bit to get that pelvis neutral. And then as I wake up and settle into the pose, I really can't. So I'm gonna keep a bent knee. Zipping up the belly, Shoulder blades drawing together. Pinky fingers rotated towards each other. Whole left leg is fired up. Take one more deep inhale here. Cactus the arms, open the chest, squeeze those shoulder blades together. And inhale high, and then arms down. Step that right foot up. Beautiful, forward fold. Give your legs a break. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And let it go, really shake the tension out of the neck. Inhale, half lift. And then you want to step your left foot back and find your lunge. So take a moment, get yourself squared up, find your 90s, feet in separate lanes, and then take the weight into your lower leg, into your legs. This time you're thinking about drawing the right hip back, the left hip forward. Hovering chest is open, neck is in line, the spine. One more inhale. Exhale, sweep your arms back. Belly is so strong here. Shoulder blades squeezing together. Inhale, reach forward, finding length. Exhale, sweep back. And then inhale with all that length. Come on up, bending into the back of your leg. Find yourself in crescent. And then settle in. Find ease in your pose. Your asana, that's a definition actually of asana. It's taking a comfortable position. And it's not easy. Keep those shoulder blades drawing down. Make sure your shoulders aren't going up around your ears. Belly is strong. One more inhale. Cactus the arms. Squeeze those shoulder blades. Open the chest. Inhale high. Beautiful. Release down. Step back, either into plank or go straight to downward dog. If you want to move into plank and you move through your chaturanga, you can either have knees down or you can come down in plank. Squeezing those elbows back along your side. And then untuck the toes, press down, squeeze your thighs together. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down. Tucking the toes, either reverse table or reverse plank. Downward dog. Beautiful. All right, now we're going to move into a Warrior Two series. So we're going to start by sweeping that left foot high, and your hips are even here. So your leg doesn't have to be super high. Probably just about hips width is good. Hip height. Try to keep, well, never mind. And then if you'd like, maybe find a scorpion. You want to keep the weight even in the shoulders, but bending that left knee and feeling that, bringing your heel towards your glutes. Maybe opening the hip a little bit, but again, keep the weight centered in your shoulders. And then come back to center, neutral, extend that leg. We're going to find a cheetah, if you can. So shift forward into plank, squeezing your knee to nose. Sweep high, find some extension. And then think about that same intention, knee to nose, and then as best you can, get that foot down. That left foot comes into a lunge. And then we're going to move into Warrior Two. So you're going to spin that back heel flat so that your foot is 90 degrees. Left toes are pointing forward, right toes are pointing to the right. And then you feel free to press yourself up or use the strength of your arms. Come on up and find a Warrior Two. So with Warrior Two, you want to think about the heel is bisecting the back foot, or it could be in line heel to heel. This is a very individual, depends on your anatomy. Ideally, you want your knee over your ankle. You never want it past. You can have it a little bit behind, but in that case, I always suggest you shorten your stance so that this is the best 90 you can get. Again, weight is pressing to the outside edge of the right foot, and then you want to think about your shoulders directly over your hips here. Belly engaged, and then sweep your arms nice and wide. So your shoulder blades are drawing together, but you're finding extension in your arms. And then just breathe. Engage your triceps, so squeeze the muscles of your arms together. So basically every muscle is fired up here. You can look forward, you can look to the side, whatever feels good on your neck. Think about your knee. Your knee often wants to collapse towards the big toe side. think about energetically the knee towards the pinky toe side just to keep it neutral. You want to be able to see your big toe from this position. Beautiful. Anytime you want to straighten your leg, give your leg a break, go for it. Otherwise, we're going to find a reverse warrior. So right hand lightly touches the back thigh, or you can bend your elbow and reach behind your back. Sweeping your left hand high, finding length on the left side here. Think about that shoulder blade in its socket, really anchored. Think about keeping that knee towards the pinky toe side, and then of the left foot. And then we're going to find side angle supported. So reaching forward, go ahead and just gently rest your elbow on your thigh. Sweep that right hand high, shoulder plugged in, belly strong. Try to keep a neutral pelvis here. And open up. Breathe. Think about externally rotating that left hand. I like to have my palm up, that helps. One more inhale. And then draw yourself up with that left hand. At the same time, you're straightening that front leg. Oh, yes. And then right hand lightly down on the back of the thigh. Left hand sweeps high. And really ground down into the feet here. And find, this is reverse triangle. You can even feel your hips sliding a little bit towards the front of the room. One more inhale. Beautiful, and then bending into that left hand, left knee, reaching, just we call cartwheeling your hands down, come up onto the ball of the back foot, step back, and just take a moment here. Downward dog. Breathing. Think about squeezing those shoulder blades together. Think about rotating the eyes of your elbows up towards the ceiling and the armpits, you want to point them down to the floor. That should give you a little bit more strength in the upper body, an anchor. All right, moving on to the other side. Sweeping that right foot high, and your hips are level here. And then think about opening that right hip, bending that right knee, heel towards the glutes, but then square up the shoulders. You can see on this side, my shoulders like to move towards the, like to rotate up. So think about really heavy weight in the right shoulder, and come back to square, extend that right foot, that right leg, and then think about shifting forward to plank, cheetah, knee to nose, and then sweeping high, find extension. And then think about that action of knee to nose, scorpion, cheetah, and then lunging down. Go ahead and get your foundation set. So knee above the ankle, rotate that back foot so it's parallel, and then go ahead and give yourself a hand if you need to, if you like to, I do. Come on up to warrior two. So get the foundation built first. So think about knee over the ankle. Again, it can be a little bit back, behind the ankle, but in that case, just shorten your width here. Knee towards the pinky toe side, so you really feel your inner and outer thighs engage. Rooting down through the back foot, and then think about squeezing those shoulder blades in, and then reaching out, and your belly, 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 belly. And make sure you don't want to hyperextend that back knee. You want to squeeze. So I'm like hanging out with my arms here, and then I'm firing up my triceps. I'm squeezing all that muscle to bone. So super active. Keep that knee reaching towards the outside pinky edge. Breathing here. And that can be either you can be looking forward or to the side. One more inhale. And exhale. You can let it go. Now we're going to move into reverse warrior. So left hand trails down the left thigh, or you can bend your elbow and just tuck it in the inside of the hip. I like this because it reminds me to keep my hips, my pelvis neutral, and then just reach high. You're not really reaching back, you're reaching high. Again, mindful of that knee. Make sure it's not collapsing in on the front foot, and that your back leg is not hyperextended. Reaching high, keep that shoulder blade plugged in. Length. And you can look up if that feels good. If not, Just find whatever feels good on your neck. One more inhale. And then side angle, so keeping that length. Right elbow on the right knee. Go ahead and prop yourself up. Sweep that right arm, or that left arm forward, high. Plug those shoulder blades in their socket. Keep that left leg anchoring you. Keep that right knee moving towards the outside edge. Belly strong. Try to keep weight off this right arm, so it's just more of an intention. But if you need to support yourself, that's totally cool. I'm doing it right now. All right, one more inhale. Exhale. And then we're going to draw ourselves up with the left hand, straighten that front leg. Left hand goes down on the left thigh. Right arm sweeps high. And then think about maybe shifting your hips a little bit towards the front. It's very subtle. And reaching high, grounding down, belly strong. One more inhale. And then cartwheel your hands down, bending into that right knee, popping up onto the left toes, back into lunge, ground your hands down, step back, and feel free to move into child's pose here if you like, at any time. If you would like one more vinyasa, so find downward dog, or you can hold downward dog if you're not ready for child's pose, you're not ready to flow. Shift forward, come down into plank, through plank, to your belly. And this time, let's actually find locust. So squeezing your thighs together, bringing your palms down, arms back, looking up like Superman, bringing your feet up, squeezing your shoulder blades. Think about reaching your fingertips towards the back of the room, crown of the head forward, legs high, belly is strong. Breathe. One more. And then exhale. Hands down, little grasshopper position, tuck your toes, reverse plank, and meet in child's pose. Relax, and it could feel good now to bring your palms, your arms back and your palms up, forehead down. Just rest. Notice if your breath is a little bit choppy or your heartbeat's racing a little bit. Take some deep breaths, making your exhales longer than your inhales. Softening, relaxing, noticing if you're holding tension anywhere, and breathe into it. Remind yourself to let go. All right, bringing your hands forward. Maybe coming up on your fingertips here, lifting your elbows off the ground. Just give yourself a little side-to-side stretch here. I feel like this is like a little hanging bridge here. I'm just gonna sway, or like a little hammock. And then soften. Bring yourself forward to a table. Tuck your toes. Downward dog. And then we're gonna tiptoe to the top of the mat here. And then actually go ahead in a forward fold. Bring your feet wide, like hips width wide. Sorry, mat's width wide. Toes out, heels in. So your feet are maybe about maybe a 45-degree angle, maybe not quite so much. And if this feels good, like I'm already feeling in my hamstrings with nice bent knees, you can stay here. Well, actually no, let's all try. If your knees will allow it, think about the hip hinge. You're sitting your booty back and then lowering it down. And you can, and if that's, adjust your feet. You want to make sure that you can support yourself. And then think about hips down. You can keep your hands down here, tenting up on the fingertips. You can also bring a block underneath your sits bones. That can be kind of nice. Otherwise, if this feels good, keep pressing your shoulders, your elbows into your knees to support. Think about bringing your chest up and your tailbone down. If you want to go a little bit further and take the weight into your legs, hands in prayer, think about squeezing those shoulder blades together. Think about lengthening the tailbone down, crown up. Belly is strong here, actually. Belly is your counterpoint or your center of gravity. Is that right? And just feel a stretch through the inside of your thighs. inhale. And on exhale, hands down, heels out, toes in, hips up. Let your head hang, a little wide leg fold here. Maybe sway back and forth. And then walk your feet back in, hips width distance, and then reverse hinge, come on up. And then we're gonna work on one standing pose here today. So we're either gonna do tree or eagle. I'll face you. So if you're gonna do tree, actually let's all try a little eagle. So you're going to sweep your arms wide and high, and then you're going to release them down. You're going to swing that right arm underneath your left, and then cross at the elbows here. If you're flexible and you can do this, bring your palms together and draw everything together. So shoulder blades back down on the back. If you're too tight or you've got big muscles, good for you. Try to just reach for your opposite elbows here. So I'm going to move into the full expression. If you're just doing tree, go ahead and, well, just try this. If this is all you can do, just do this. That's good. So then you want to squat down like you're in a chair. Actually, I'll do it this angle. Squat down like you're in a chair, and then think about reaching this. First, just bring that knee up. So you're like Karate Kid here. So this is balancing in itself. Try to keep your hips level. Really feel the little muscles of your ankle working here. If this is good enough, well, actually, then cross that right knee over the left. Keep sinking a little bit further. And if you can just stay here, stay here. If you have big muscles, if you're a guy, you might just stay here. If you can wrap, ultimate expression is the right toes wrap behind the left cat, or like behind the left ankle. And you want to sit upright. So find whatever works. If you're here, just be here. Feel that left quad or left glute fire up. If you're in full eagle, belly engaged, well, for all of you, draw those shoulders down, or the elbows down, shoulders back. And we'll squat down a little bit lower. One more deep inhale. And on exhale, stand up, release. And moving directly into the other side. So this time, left arm sweeps underneath the right. So crossing the elbows. And then you can just stay here. You can interlace the hands, or you can just reach for your shoulders. Find whatever you've got. Then squat down, chair pose. Lift that left knee high and feel that belly engage. Notice a difference on the sides, between the sides. So just think about Mr. Miyagi here. That goes on. If you want to move on, cross that left knee over the right. Just try to think about keeping your hips even here. And then if you can do it, wrap ultimate expression, but don't force it, not necessary. This is a balancing pose. This is not about twisting your body into weird shapes. Just 20 years of practice and you can probably do it. So, sinking, so again, think about shoulder blades down, shoulders over the hips. Think about squeezing your thighs together here. One more inhale. And then release. Sweep high. And hands to heart center. Now we'll do a tree too, just in case. So, go ahead and think about bringing your right knee to the outside, or to the right side. Come up onto the ball of the toe of the right foot. Heel of the right foot against the left leg, like above the ankle. If that's good, stay here. If you want to maybe hover, bring that foot to the inside of the ankle, your right foot. Hands to heart, prayer, heart center, prayer position. Maybe foot to the ankle or to the calf. Getting tired. Or make sure you don't press against the knee. That's the only place you're not allowed. Otherwise, find where you can. Help your foot up if you like, if you want to find up to the inner thigh. So think about toes pointing down, heel pressing into the thigh, left thigh pressing into the heel. Think about rotating, but be gentle here. You should feel just a nice stretch, not overdoing it. Right knee towards the right side of the room. Pressing down with that left foot. pressing in with the right foot, pressing it in with the left thigh. There's a lot going on here. And then just stand. If you really want to challenge yourself, close your eyes. And just take a moment to appreciate all the little tiny little muscles and fibers that your body is using to be here in what looks like a pretty simple position. And then now to come out of it, bring that right knee forward wherever you are, and then just slide it back down. Kind of shift around, and moving into the left side. So left knee turns out to the side. First start with that left ball of the foot grounded, heel against the ankle. You want to try a little bit of balance, bring it up just off the floor to the calf, not the knee, or take your hands and help yourself get into the foot against the thigh. Take a moment. I like to have my hands on my hip points here just to make sure they're level. I remind my transverses always. Okay, and then build your pose. So you're pressing down into the floor with your right foot. Your right quadricep is engaged, so draw it up. Then press that right thigh into the left foot. At the same time, you're lengthening that left knee towards the left side of the room, and you're pressing that left foot into the right thigh, inner thigh. Give yourself a chance to breathe and close your eyes. Again, feel all those little tiny little muscles holding you in place. One more inhale. Embrace the sway. Balance is so important, especially as we get older. Beautiful, and then release by bringing that left knee towards the forward sliding foot down. Wonderful. All right, great job. We're gonna move to the floor now and finish it up. So I like to bring my feet together, my toes together, my heels about 1 inch apart, and try it coming up onto your tippy toes. And then bending your knees. Think about bringing your heels up. It's nice to have your hands outstretched forward, engage those triceps. Think about knees up, shins up, knees forward, and then sinking down a wall, back flat against the wall. And think about squeezing those sides together. If this is in any way causing pain or your knees don't like it, don't worry about it. And then when you get down there, keep your toes together, knees apart. Bring your elbows inside your thighs. So let yourself kind of fall into a little ball here. Let your head hang heavy. Feel your calves stretching out. And then using your hands, lower your butt down. Take a moment, move the flesh out of the way from the sits bones. So you want to feel those little sits bones connecting to the ground here. And then we're going to move into boat pose for just a little bit of core here. So your feet are on the floor, your knees are bent, hips width distance apart. Right away, so think about shoulder blades drawing back, chest nice and broad, and your belly is already engaged here. And then hands outstretched forward, again flat back. So you want it, you can cheat on this for sure, but you want to be feeling it right here. So think about upper body leaning back, keeping everything centered here. And then if you want to challenge yourself, lift your feet off the floor. Breathe. Straighten your legs if you like. That changes the pose for me and gets me out of my low belly so I don't. And then slowly, it's called sinking your canoe. So slowly leaning back, keeping your back flat, your core strong, straighten your legs. Try to relax your neck and extend your body in both directions. And then arms overhead. And just let go. Good job. Take a moment to appreciate how good it feels to be on the floor. All right. Now bend your knees and bring your feet flat on the floor. Go ahead and maybe pick your hips up, make your spine nice and long. So get your sacrum on the mat. Got my little notes here, make sure I'm hitting everything. All right, so we're gonna move into bridge pose. So walk your feet, your heels as close to your butt as you can, keeping your knees hips width distance apart, your feet hips width distance apart. And then palms flat on the mat at your side, and then engaging that lower belly, and then pressing into the feet, lifting the hips up into bridge. Now you want to think about, rather than firing with the glutes, you want to think about bringing yourself up with your low belly here and pressing strong into the feet. So your thighs, your quadriceps are working. Take a deep breath, so nice flat bridge here. One more inhale. And then lowering, starting with the vertebrae up on your upper back, lowering down, keeping that belly strong. Lower down one vertebra at a time. See if you can make your back longer on the floor than when you started. Beautiful. Now walk your feet to the edges of the mat here. Let your knees drop in. Make sure your back is nice and flat. So if you need to make adjustments, go for it. So knees drop together. Feet are hips, mat width distance. And then move into some windshield. So keeping your feet where they are, just rocking your knees to the right. And don't go all the way to start. So just start to feel into it. So you're rocking onto the upper edges of your feet, the inside and outside edges. And then rock the knees to the left. So you're on the outside edge of the left foot, inside of the right. And you're using your belly to control this. So you're not opening all the way. And then to the right again, maybe a little bit further. Think about that left knee pointing forward. Coming back to center, breathing. To the left, think about that right knee towards forward, pressing away from you. And then coming back, and this third time, maybe going a little bit further, maybe letting things drop. Depends on your hips and your knees. And then and wherever you are, see if you can find some ease, some relaxation. If you're letting your legs go, as I am right now, I'm thinking about softening. This gets into the psoas, which is, I'm not going to get too technical here, but it's kind of hard to stretch that little baby, and it's a very, very important, critically important. And then draw your belly and just engage it a little bit just to bring yourself back up to center. So it's coming from the belly and then dropping to the left. And see if you can go a little bit further. See if you can let yourself go, then totally let yourself go. Observing the difference in sides. Squirrels. All right, then coming back to center, using that belly, walking your feet back into center. Draw your knees into your chest. So using your hands behind your thighs, behind your knees, squeeze them in. If your knees aren't sensitive, you can bring your hands to the front of your shins. Just squeeze. If you're super flexible or you want to interlace your fingers, make sure you're getting nice length on the sacrum, low back flat. You want to move into happy baby. You want to move your feet up towards the ceiling, keeping your knees nice and bent, your elbows inside your knees, reaching for the outside edges of your feet with your hands. And then maybe rocking back and forth a little bit. Using the strength of your arm, try to let your legs relax here. They'll probably try to fight it in the beginning, but don't let them. It's a nice inner thigh stretch here. All right, and then releasing the feet, come back into feet flat, knees bent. And we're gonna move into figure four. So bring that right knee into your chest, then cross that right foot over your left thigh, and just let that right knee fall to the side. You can take your right hand and press. Make sure you're keeping your hips level and heavy and square on the floor. So you can use your left hand to kind of anchor you, and then maybe your right hand to press. And keep a little bit of flexion into your feet, into your right foot. Will protect your knee, and then try to soften. So breathing, and as if your body lets go and it's inviting you to go deeper, then keep pressing. If you're more flexible, you want to find more sensation, you can bring that left knee up. I can't do it on this side, I should have demoed on the other side, but you can interlace your fingers behind your left thigh and draw that knee closer to your chest. I guess I can do it a little bit here. Honoring your body, meet it where it is. Do not expect more from it than it can give, or else you'll get in trouble. So breathe here. One more inhale. Open your mouth and let it go. And while you're releasing your left foot down, uncross your leg here. And then bring that left knee in. Cross that left ankle over the right thigh. And you may have a different experience on the side. So just start off with level hips, right hand anchoring your pelvis, pressing that left knee away. Left foot flexed, gently, not too anything crazy. And if there's more sensation to be found, stay here if this feels good. If you want a little bit more and you have it, bring that right knee up, interlace your fingers behind your thigh. A strap is also really nice here, a stretch aid. Again, keep your everything in kind of lined up. So make sure you're not rocking to the left here. Make sure that right knee is in line with your right hip and your right foot is relaxed. And it is also in line with that hip. And just a little gentle flexion in that left foot. You can also play with relaxing that left foot. If it doesn't bother your knee, go for it. Try to keep that left leg relaxed as well. Don't let it fight. This is you're using your arms to hold yourself up. One more nice deep inhale, deepest one yet. Really fill yourself up. Open your mouth and let it go. Releasing that right foot down, uncross the ankle, bring your knees back in, give yourself another squeeze, and then keeping your fingers interlaced behind the right thigh, or actually gently around the right knee. Extend that right leg forward. If it doesn't, well, actually give it a try, even if you have to keep your knee bent. Try to find some length here through that right leg, through the right psoas, and squeeze that right knee in. Left knee. And then we're going to move into a twist. So take your right hand to the outside edge, outside of the left knee, and draw it across. I actually really like crossing my legs here. So in that case, I'm going to bend my right knee, foot flat, cross that left leg over the right, like you're sitting ladylike. And then keeping this left hip reach as anchored as you can and reaching towards the front of the room or wherever you are, away from your head. Let your knees drop to the right. And support yourself. This is a good place to have your blocks as well, or just don't go so deep. Outstretch that left arm, so keep that left shoulder anchored, and then just relax into this twist. You can use your right hand on your left thigh. You can have your right arm outstretched. See what feels good. Just keep thinking about that left hip reaching away from your head so your back stays nice and long. It's really important in twists. Space in between the vertebrae. Deep breaths here. Let yourself relax. Notice if you're holding tension anywhere. If you want to play with straightening that right leg, go for it. Twists are really, really individual. I mean, all of yoga is, but you can do a million different variations of twist. You just want to feel a nice stretch through the outside, through your glutes, all of your glutes. One more inhale here. Let it go. And then engage that belly. Bring your knees back to center. Uncross your legs. Press into your feet. Kind of readjust yourself. Recenter. And then bring that right knee in. Interlace. Stretch that left leg long if it feels good. Or keep that knee bent. And then if you want to do what we did on the other side, bend that left knee, left foot on the floor, cross that right thigh over the left. And again, make sure that right hip is long, as grounded as you can get it. And outstretch that right arm so that your shoulder stays grounded, and then let your legs drop to the left. And prop yourself up as you need to. Just want to find that nice long stretch. Again, length in the back. You want to just feel a stretch through the outside of the hip, the glutes, and then just soften. Notice if you're holding tension, breathe into it. One more nice inhale. Open your mouth, let it go. All right. Engage in that belly. Slowly draw your knees back to center. If you want to give yourself one more nice squeeze, maybe even bring your head up to your knees to your nose. And then we're going to move into final Shavasana. So you can keep your knees bent, your feet on the floor. If you do that, maybe your feet a little bit wider than your hips and let your knees fall towards each other. That way you're not efforting. That can feel good if you have low back issues or tension. Otherwise, stretch your legs out. Get yourself nice and square. Maybe take a peek down. Make sure your chest is nice and open. Arms fall to your side with your palms up. Take another deep breath here. One final deep breath. Biggest one yet. Open your mouth and let it go. And then just rest here in Shavasana. Try to keep your mind a little quiet. If it wants to wander, just return to the breathing. Just scan your body, notice the difference between that very first mountain pose, those first forward folds. Just notice if you feel a little bit more ease in your body. Soften your face, soften your eyes. Do one final scan starting from your toes and working all the way up to the crown of your head. Just pay attention to each little part and notice if you need to let go and fully relax. This is an integral part of the practice. Shavasana. It's where all that work settles in at a cellular level. So take some deep breaths here. Stay as long as you can. Thank you so much for letting me lead you through this. It's rough. I'm practicing. Constant life learner and student teacher. So thank you and namaste.